Hello and welcome to a new video. So in 3 days from now, Raids 2, also called the Theater of Blood, will come to old school RuneScape. Since a lot of people aren't informed all the time which items will come to the game and which won't, I thought I made a video about it where I talk about all the items. On the screen you can see where I talk about which items, so you can skip to that part of the video if you want to. So the first new items that I'm going to talk about will be the potion. So there are 2 new potions coming with Raids 2. The 2 potions are basically the range and mage equivalent to the super combat potion for melee. The Bastion potion is a combination of the range potion and the super defense potion. Remember, it's only a normal range potion and not a super range potion. So to make the Bastion potion, you have to combine a vial of blood. This is a new item that comes into the game from Raids 2, a Catatine herb, and a wine of Samurach. The Battle Mage potion is a combination of a normal mage potion with a super defense potion. To make it, you need again a vial of blood and a Catatine, but instead of the wine of Samurach, you need a potato cactus. The Wernick Defender is a better version of the Dragon Defender. So you make yourself an Wernick Defender by upgrading your Dragon Defender by using an Wernick hilt on it. An Wernick hilt is a tradable reward from Raids 2. After combining the Wernick Defender with your Dragon Defender, it's an untradable item. You can dismantle it again, but then the Wernick hilt is destroyed and you only get your Dragon Defender back. If you lose your Wernick Defender in PvP in less than 20 wilderness, you can repair your damaged Wernick Defender at Purdue for a fee of 1 mil GP. This fee will go to your killer, like it works with all untradable items. If you lose your Wernick Defender in more than level 20 wilderness, the dev block said it's destroyed, but it's not clearly specified what your opponent will get then. The Wernick Defender has 5 more accuracy in all melee stats than the Dragon Defender and 5 more defense in all defensive stats than the Dragon Defender. Additionally to that, it has 2 more melee strength than the Dragon Defender and is with 8 melee strength, best in slot for strength as well. The only downside to the Defender is the 2 more negative mage accuracy over the Dragon Defender and the 2 more negative range accuracy. So the next item I'm going to talk about is the new Sanguinesti staff. So I can't pronounce that word, but who cares? So it's basically a Trident of the Swamp with 1 higher max hit. So that's really cool already, but there's a cool extra effect. So it has a 1 in 6 chance to heal you for 50% of your damage. So basically it heals you for like 8% of your total damage, which is really cool. And the cost per cast are 3 blood runes. So it probably costs you around 750 GP to cast with that stuff, which is a little bit more expensive than the Trident of the Swamp, but you have the heal effect and 1 extra max hit. So I can clearly see rich people using this stuff. Really cool item, but in my opinion, kinda boring concept. So the next item I'm going to talk about is the Gracie Rapier. I made this little comparison in Paint quickly so you can all see how the stats of the Gracie Rapier compare to the Tent Whip and the Chaotic Rapier. So the Gracie Rapier is a standalone drop from Raids 2. So nothing attached to it. You just get the rapier as a standalone drop and you can use it and it's not degradable. So it has the same accuracy bonus as a Chaotic Rapier had back in the day. It also has 4 more accuracy bonus than the Tent Whip. But remember, the rapier is stab bonus and the Tent Whip is slash, and sometimes you need something that's weak against a certain attack style. Also, the Gracie Rapier has 3 more strength bonus than the Tent Whip, but it's not really as good as a Chaotic Rapier, because a Chaotic Rapier had 12 more strength bonus. All of the weapons have the same attack speed, so that's really interesting. Also something I want to mention here, the old school RuneScape team recently switched from using the attack rate as attack rate in RuneScape terms, which goes from low number is really small and high number is really fast, to the tick system. So attack rate 4 actually means 4 ticks for them now. I think this is the reason due to switching of J-mods and has no real other reasons. The main uses for the Gracie Rapier will be for doing Slayer and probably for killing dragons. But I think the Gracie Rapier won't be better than the Dragon Hunter crossbow at Warcav. I haven't tested it myself, but I'm quite certain about that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Justicer armor set. This is the new best tank gear. It's better than the current best tank gear, which is Thorax in all melee defenses and in range defense. It's slightly worse in magic defense and its magic accuracy is slightly worse. Up to this point you're probably like, where do I want this gear? I'm not going to spend loads for slightly more defense stats. That's right, it has an amazing damage absorption effect. So 1 divided by 3000 of your defensive bonus is going to be used as your damage absorption coefficient. So for example, if you have 450 defense against the style you're getting attacked by, you have a 15% damage reduction on every incoming hit. And this works together with the ally effect, so you can be super tanky. And this will be really useful for methods where people bring an ult to do PVM that basically tanks for them while they can hit the monster with the best offensive weapons. Also, this gear might replace Bandos for the Inferno because it's so tanky, but you have to remember you have a lot less magic accuracy then, and maybe you still need some magic accuracy to not splash on the nibblers. So the next item I'm going to talk about will be worth the most. It's called the Scythe of Vitur, and in my opinion it's like the twisted bow of Raids 2. So some of you might have already looked at the stats and you're probably like, what the fuck, this item is a piece of crap. But you need to read the special effects thing. Every time you hit with the item on a monster that's bigger than a 3x3, or there are 3 monsters in your way, it hits all 3 of them, or the single big monster with 3 damage splats. The first damage splat does 100% damage, the second does 50 and the third 25. So basically you're doing 175% of your damage you have with this stats right here on every single hit. And the nice thing about it is that the attack rate is 5, so it hits as fast as a longsword. Some people now might say, hey, I saw Wooks test it at Jagex and I saw him test it at the test servers and it was a piece of crap. That's because originally on the test servers it was 7 ticks. It was a piece of garbage. Then they changed it to 6 ticks. It was still kinda shit. But then they changed it to 5 ticks. But they forgot to change it to 5 ticks for the people who went to testing at Jagex. So the people at Jagex still tested the version that was approximately 20% worse. I explicitly asked J-mods on Twitter if they will release it with an attack speed of 5 ticks. And they told me yes. But all this strength doesn't come for free. You have to charge the site with blood runes and with Vial of Blood. For 100 hits with the scythe you pay 300 blood runes and 1 vial of blood. This makes a single hit cost 3 blood runes and 1/100th of a vial of blood. So this is probably somewhere around 1k per hit. If a single hit really will cost 1k, an hour of using it with constantly hitting would be 1.2 mil. Also, something that is not considered in the calculation that will follow now is that sometimes a hit, for example if you hit Bandos, can go onto a minion, because when something is in the attack field it hits random things with the next attack, either the monster itself or the next monsters. Now you're probably wondering, how strong is this scythe? You're at the correct place, because someone on Reddit already did these calculations and I stole them from him. By the way, the link to the Reddit post is in the description if you want to look at the Reddit post itself. It exactly shows how the calculations were done, but I thought for this video this goes too much in depth. All these calculations use the best gear there is once the new gear is out. So even the calculation for the Abyssal Whip used the new cool Defender that I talked about earlier. So the really nice thing is we get the 5 tick scythe. For example, on General Growlor, that's 28.4% more DPS than an Abyssal Whip, or about 20% more DPS than the new Rapier. But it will also be useful for stuff like raids. At Ulm, it has like 20% more DPS than the Rapier and 29% more DPS than a normal whip, which is fucking insane. Or even for Slayer, you could go to Dark Beasts and kill them with your scythe, and if it's charged, you have 20% more accuracy than with a Gracie Rapier, and even if it's uncharged, it's the same as a Gracie Rapier. But for example, if you go to Dagannoth Kings, you're better off bringing an uncharged scythe than bringing the Gracie Rapier. This is insane. As soon as the monster is 3 times 3 or bigger, you should only use that new fucking scythe. Of course, there are still monsters where the Twisted Bow or the Blowpipe is better than the scythe, but still, this is probably the most changing item of the new items. So I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, there's also a cape for completing certain amounts of raids, but it's completely cosmetic, so who cares? Apart from the few completionists who are going to slave 2000 raids too. So, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment what you think about the new items.